It's Wulf, and it's another first 15. This time it's Road to Guangdong or Guangdong. It depends on how you pronounce it. I looked it up because I took a class not that long ago that had some names of Chinese cities involved in it, and sometimes those O's are kind of pronounced like U's in English, but then when I looked it up online, dictionary.com I think said that you should pronounce it like it's an O. So I don't know. Anyway, that's beside the point. Road to Guangdong. This is a game about driving, kind of. It's an interesting concept for a game because it kind of takes the more narrative focused style of games that have been kind of increasing in popularity over the past few years and adds in driving aspects of it, or actually kind of centers it around driving, really. So the overall story of the game, not really a lot happens in the first 15 minutes, so I actually don't really know a ton of the story because this was also not a game that I really looked up a lot. Like, I knew it existed and it was a game that I was interested in, so when I saw it on Keymailer, I requested a key, but I didn't really look up a lot about it otherwise. So I know that based off the first 15 minutes and the little bit of advertising and stuff I did see about it, you're driving throughout areas of China and meeting up with different relatives after your characters, it seems like both their mom and dad have passed away in like at the same time, and you're driving around with your aunt meeting up with family members, and it sounds like kind of to both discuss the will and to learn about like recipes for the restaurant that you inherited. And so that's overall the general concept, and there's definitely a lot of focus on dialogue in the game that I saw. Otherwise, I don't really know if there's a whole ton else to say about the game. Overall, I think that it's got a lot of cool aspects, but definitely there were areas that I felt like could have been more fleshed out, which I mean they might be later on in the game, but in the first 15 minutes the game is honestly kind of boring. So I like the art style quite a bit, and I think that the concept of the game overall is straightforward enough to be able to toss you into it fairly quickly, but also still have deep meaning to it, which I think is important for a lot of these games, because whenever you have a narrative game, you don't necessarily want to have to spend a huge amount of time with exposition, and within the first 15 minutes here, it was like I already completely understood what was going on in the story, but it also opens up plenty of scenarios for like deep story moments because the concept fits like that really well. As for the art style, I really like it because it's not really comic, it's not full on cel shading, but it's simple and it's still kind of colorful though, especially at nighttime. There's not really a lot of nighttime gameplay in this, but towards the end there's I think like a whole minute or so where it's at night and there's a lot of like colors and stuff. So that's pretty cool and I like that. As for areas that I think could be improved a little bit, I think that for a game that sort of presents itself as a pretty narrative driven game, I wish there were some more dialogue options, and I don't know if there are more scenarios with more dialogue options later in the game, but at least in the beginning of the game you're only ever presented with 3-ish, maybe. Mostly it seemed like 2 options for dialogue, and I think for a game that seems to be focused on story, I think it would have been better to have more options. But I also don't really know how linear this game is, because it might also just be kind of a linear game where they might not have that option. Like, I don't know if this game has multiple endings or anything, or if what you say actually affects anything, but overall I think I would have liked to see more dialogue. I will say, at first I was shocked kind of by the lack of voice acting in the game, but then as I played it, I was actually like, this is sort of nice because it adds to the simplicity and calmness that the simple colors make up and the simple art style make up. So I actually think not having voice actors was kind of a smart choice. And I think another thing that I wish had a little bit of improvement was just the general car mechanics. I think that it's a game that, alongside being focused on narrative, also appears to be very focused on driving, and the car mechanics, I don't know, they feel like at an awkward midsection between being deep and then also being kind of surface level, because there's stuff that can go wrong with the car and you have to watch your fuel level and everything, but beyond that it just mainly sort of seems like money management. And I think that eventually it does come into play a little bit of like whether you want to buy used parts or new parts or what order you want to replace things in and stuff, but I don't know, I feel like it would have been interesting if there was some sort of more depth to it, especially because it doesn't appear like you can get out of the car at all. So I think that would have been interesting if, I don't know, you could get out and like scavenge at a junkyard instead of going to a repair mechanic or something. But I mean, it works, but it just kind of, when meter gets low, pull over and press button. And I don't know, I think it would have been cool if they added more. I think what I'm thinking of is it would have been cool if they added like maybe like mini games, because I think some of the repairs are done by your own character. So it would have been cool if it was like rotate the stick to screw in this nut on the tire kind of thing. But they're also not like particularly intrusive and annoying or anything. One other area that has to do with the driving stuff that I think could use some work is that I found the navigation to be kind of confusing, because the game doesn't appear to be any sort of open world or anything. It seems like you kind of just take one path, but I got kind of confused as to where I was supposed to go, because sometimes you'll see like other roads and you're like, well, am I supposed to take a turn or am I actually supposed to just follow this road? And I think it would have been helpful if there was maybe a map to pull up, which there might be, and I could have missed it, but I tried looking, and I think that even happens in the gameplay a little bit. I really just couldn't find where one is, if it is there, or otherwise maybe just some sort of compass that like generally points in the direction you're supposed to go, because otherwise, at least somebody like me who plays a lot of racing and driving games and is used to kind of navigating a lot, I was almost surprised with the lack of navigation, I guess is the best way to put it. But anyway, overall, I think that the game seems pretty cool. I mean, I think that it's yet another scenario. I feel like I've said this in a lot of first 15s lately, where if you think that a narrative focused driving game about meeting with your relatives sounds cool, then I think you'll probably enjoy this game, because that's what it is. And it's one of those things where the game doesn't really seem to trick you at all. Like, it is exactly what it was advertised as. So I think that's pretty cool. If you're looking for a game that's like super focused on driving physics or anything like that, I don't think that this is necessarily your game. But in general, I think it's a pretty cool idea for a game, and I think that if what was advertised appeals to you, then you will probably like this game, because it is very true to what it sounds like it will be. So anyway, hope you guys enjoy the rest of the gameplay. I'll see you in future videos, and bye-bye.